A big list of domestic violence help by U.S. state and local area. Chapter 1. DV by State 1. Alabama Domestic Violence Help and Local Shelters. epub 4762. Montgomery, Alabama 36101. 800-650-6522. 334-767-3076. 334-832-4803. 334-832-4842. Alabama 24-hour Domestic Violence Hotline. 800-650-6522. The hotline will direct your call to the shelter nearest you. Crisis Services of North Alabama. epub 368. Huntsville, Alabama 35804. Huntsville County. 256-716-1000. Office, 256-716-4052. 800-691-8426. csna.org/index.php. Serving Jackson, Limestone, Madison, and Morgan counties. The Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. epub 4762. Montgomery, Alabama 36101. 800-650-6522. 334-832-4842. academicv.org. info@academicv.org. Baldwin Sabra Sanctuary. epub 393. 622 Dallas Avenue. Selma, Alabama 36702. 334-874-8711. 334-877-4645. Serving Dallas, Perry, and Wilcox counties. The Lighthouse. epub 531. Robertsdale, Alabama 36567. 251-947-6008. Office, 251-947-6197. Toll-free 800-543-5068. abeacon.org. Calhoun 2ND Chance, Inc. epub 2714. Anniston, Alabama 36202. 256-236-7381. Fax, 256-236-1614. 2ndchance.org. 2ndchance@cableone.net. Calhoun, the Salvation Army Women's Shelter. 420 Noble Street. 256-236-5644. Fax, 256-236-4280. uss.salvationarmy.org/uss/www_uss.nsf. Covington Opportunity House, Inc. epub 554. Opp, Alabama 36467. 334-493-2320. 334-493-4835. Coleman Harbor House/Crisis Center of Coleman. epub 416. Coleman, Alabama 35056. 256-734-6100. Office, 256-775-2600. Dothan House of Ruth. epub 968. Dothan, Alabama 36301. 334-793-2232 or 1-800-650-6522. Offs, 334-793-5214. houseofruth.dothan.org. ESCAMBIA The Lighthouse. Robertsdale, Alabama 36567. Jasper Daybreak Family Violence Program. epub 3429. Jasper, Alabama 35522. 205-287-1157. Jefferson YWCA Domestic Violence Services. epub 11865. Birmingham, Alabama 35202. 205-322-4878, 205-521-9646, ywca.bham.org. Serving Blount, Jefferson, and St. Clair counties. LAUDERDALE Safe Place, Inc. epub 1456. Florence, Alabama 35631. 256-767-6210. 256-767-3076. 800-550-9215. nwalsafeplace.org. LEE Domestic Violence Intervention Center. epub 2183. Opelika, Alabama 36803. 334-749-1515, 24 hours. 800-650-6522. dvic1.org. dvic2@yahoo.com. Serving Chambers, Lee, Macon, Randolph, and Tallapoosa counties. Madisona, Shakeran. epub 1021. Huntsville, Alabama 35807. 800-793-3010. 256-509-1882. ashakiranonline.org. asha117@ashakiranonline.org. Maringa Harriet's House. epub 569. Demopolis, Alabama 36732. 334-289-8988. Office 334-289-8985. TTY 800-787-3224. westal.net/Harriet's House. Serving Choctaw, Clark, Greene, Marengo, and Sumter counties. Mobile, Penelope House. epub 9127. Mobile, Alabama 36691. Crisis 251-342-8994. Domestic Viennese 800-650-6522. penelopehouse.org. Serving Escambia, Mobile, and Washington counties. Montgomery Family Sunshine Center. epub 5160. Montgomery, Alabama 36103. 334-206-2100. FamilySunshine.org. Russell Crisis Center of Russell County. epub 2835. Phoenix City, Alabama 36868. 334-297-4401. 334-297-4482. Shelby Safe House. epub 275. Pelham, Alabama 35124. 205-669-1877. Safehouse.org. Safehouse@safehouse.org. Tuscaloosa Family Counseling Service. 2020 Paul W. Bryant Drive. Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35401. 205-752-2504. 800-916-2504. Fax 205-345-4842. CounselingService.org. Turning Point. epub 1165. Tuscaloosa, Alabama 35403. 205-758-0808. Fax 205-759-8042. TurningPointServices.org. AcademicV.org, Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. academicv.org/shelterlist.html, member shelter programs. academicv.org/sheltermap.html, map of shelters. acar.org, Alabama Coalition Against Sexual Violence. acar.org/index.php/crisis-centers, rape crisis centers. ashakiran.com/asha, Asian Women's Organization. womenslaw.org/gethelp_state.php?state_code =al aardvark.org/dv/states/aldv.shtml aavpnet.org, Alabama Association of Violence Intervention Programs. aavpnet.org/certified-programs, certified programs. Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. epub 4762, Montgomery, Alabama 36101. 334-832-4842. Fax 334-832-4803. The Domestic Violence Intervention Center. Safe House 334-749-1515. 800-650-6522. Family Sunshine Center. epub 4774. Montgomery, Alabama 36103-4774. 334-206-2100. Helpline Rape Response. epub 92. Huntsville, Alabama 35804-0092. 205-539-6161. Rape Response. 3600 8th Avenue South. Number 501. Birmingham, Alabama 35222. 205-323-7777. Alaska Domestic Violence Help in Local Shelters. 130 Seward St. Number 209. Juneau, Alaska 99801. 907-586-3650. Fax 907-463-4493. nvsa.org. Alaska Family Violence Prevention Project. 3601 C Street, Suite 250. epub 240249. Anchorage, Alaska 99524. 800-799-7570. 907-269-3454. Fax 907-269-5236. hss.state.ak.us/dph/injury_prevention/akfvpp/contact.htm. AFP conducts research, develops domestic violence training curricula and provides multidisciplinary training and technical assistance on family violence for health and social service providers, public health professionals, and communities across Alaska. Alaska Immigration Justice Project. 431 West 7th Avenue Suite 208. Anchorage, Alaska 99501. 907-279 AIJP, 2457. Fax 907-279-2450. akijp.org. Alaska Immigration Justice Project is a non-profit agency that provides low-cost immigration legal assistance to immigrants and refugees. Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. 130 Seward St. Number 214. Juneau, Alaska 99801. 800-799-SAFE 7233 or 800-787-3224, TTY. 907-586-3650, also accepts collect calls. 1-888-988-3725, Tuesdays, 5 to 7 p.m., for legal info. nvsa.org. Alaska Law Help. AlaskaLawHelp.org. Council on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, Alaska Department of Public Safety. 450 Whittier Street Suite 105. epub 111200. Juneau, Alaska 99811. 907-465-4356, Office. Fax 907-465-3627. dps.state.ak.us/cdvsa. Family Law Self-Help Center. 907-264-0851. 866-279-0851, free statewide outside of Anchorage. state.ak.us/courts/selfhelp.hdm. Standing Together Against Rape, Star. 1057 West Fireweed Lane Suite 230. Anchorage, Alaska 99503. 907-276-7273. 800-478-8999 or 907-276-7279. Fax 907-278-9983. staralaska.com/scripts/home.asp. star@staralaska.org. Anchorage Abused Women's Aid in Crisis Awake. 100 West 13th Avenue. 13th Avenue between A and C Street. 907-272-0100. 907-279-9581. Fax 907-279-7244. ayc.org. Awake operates a 24-hour crisis line, a 24-hour shelter and transitional housing, provides crisis intervention, case management and legal advocacy, and a children's program and youth center. Aiding Women's Aid in Crisis, Inc. 100 West 13th Avenue. Anchorage, Alaska 95501. 907-279-9581. Victims for Justice. 1057 West Fireweed Lane Suite 101. 888-835-1213. 907-278-0977. Fax 907-258-0740. victimsforjustice.org. R. Langley at victimsforjustice.org. Victims for Justice provides crisis intervention, court accompaniment, and information and referrals. Barrow Arctic Women in Crisis AWIC. 4470 North Star Street. epub 69. Barrow, Alaska 99723. 1-800-478-0267. 907-852-0274. 907-852-0261. Bethel Tundra Women's Coalition. epub 2029. Bethel, Alaska 99559. 1-800-478-7799. 907-543-3444. Fax 907-543-3752. twcpeace.org. twc@twcpeace.org. The Tundra Women's Coalition operates a 24-hour crisis line, provides victim advocacy and hospital accompaniment, facilitates support groups and children's programs, and can assist with transportation. Cordova Family Resource Center CFRC. 705 2nd Street. P.O. Box 863. Cordova, Alaska 99574. 907-424-5674. 866-790-4357 or 907-424-4357. Fax 907-424-5673. CFRC@ctcak.net. CFRC provide 24-hour helpline, safe homes, transport to shelters outside of Cordova, child advocacy, educational workshops, crisis intervention, lending library, referral to other agencies, SART, and parenting skills. Dillingham Safe and Fear-Free Environments Safe. epub 94. Dillingham, Alaska 99576. 800-478-2316. 907-842-2320. Fax 907-842-2198. basafenfree.org. Verba im@basafenfree.org. SAFE provides services that enhance safety and promote nonviolence for the well-being of the people of Bristol Bay. Emmamak Women's Shelter Use. P.O. Box 207. 1-800-478-1434. Emmamak, Alaska 99581. 1-800-478-1434. 907-949-1434. mmacws@aol.com. Fairbanks Interior Alaska Center for Nonviolent Living, IAC. 726 26th Avenue. 1-800-478-7273. Fairbanks, Alaska 99701. 907-452-2293. 907-452-1120, TDD. Fax, 907-752-2613. BrendaK@rocketmail.com. IAC provide counseling and assistance in a shelter for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. Services include crisis intervention, counseling, advocacy and support, legal advocacy, education/referrals for women and children. Homer, South Peninsula Haven House. 3776 Lake Street, Suite 100. Homer, Alaska 99603. 800-478-7712 or 907-235-8943. 907-235-7712. Fax, 907-235-2733. havenhousealaska.org. sbhh@alaska.net. The South Peninsula Haven House operates a 24-hour staffed shelter and a sexual assault response team, and provides legal advocacy and community referrals. South Peninsula Women's Services SPWS. 3776 Lake Street, Suite 100. 800-478-7712. 907-235-8101. Juneau, aiding women in abuse and rape emergencies aware. epub 20809. Juneau, Alaska 99802. 907-586-1090. 907-586-6623 or 800-478-1090. Fax, 907-586-2479. awareak.org. info@awareak.org. Aware operates an emergency shelter and provides crisis intervention, advocacy and legal advocacy, operate education and support groups, children's counseling, a program for teens and a program for abusers. Aware's rural outreach extends to Elfin Cove, Gustavus, Haines, Hoona, Claquon, Pelican, Skagway, Tenakee Springs, and Yakutat. Kenai Shore Women's Resource and Crisis Center K/SWRCC. 325 Spruce Street. Kenai, Alaska 99611. 907-283-7257. Fax, 907-283-5844. alaska.net/Lishore. This organization offers an emergency shelter and transitional living, a children's program and a program for abusive men. Ketchikan Women in Safe Homes. epub 6552. Ketchikan, 99901. 800-478-9474. 907-225-9474. Fax, 907-225-2472. nomiwish@kpunet.net. Kodiak Women's Resource and Crisis Center KWRCC. P.O. Box 2122. Kodiak, Alaska 99615. 907-486-3625. Fax, 907-486-4264. kwrcc@ptialaska.net. KWRCC provides resources and crisis services to the community, as well as a shelter for women and their children who are victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. KOTZEBU Imani Lock Family Crisis Center MFCC. P.O. Box 256. 733 2nd Avenue. Kotzebue, Alaska 99752. 907-442-7660 or 800-478-3312. Tribal Service 800-478-9791. Fax, 907-442-7830. MoniILAQ.org. iconwell@MoniILAQ.org. MoniILAQ provides health and social services to residents of Northwest Alaska. Matswalaska Family Services, Domestic Violence. Matsu, AK. 907-746-4080. Fax, 907-376-4000. Provides child care assistance, WIC program, Family Violence Intervention Program, Child Care Food Program, Family Support Services, services to young pregnant women. Also serves youth, women, and men for substance abuse and related problems. The Children's Place. 907-357-5157. Fax, 907-357-5159. A child-friendly, neutral facility where professionals from many agencies involved in the evaluation, investigation, and treatment of child abuse meet to coordinate and bring their services to the child and their families. Nome Bering Sea Women's Group BSWG. 501 West 5th Street. POB 1596. Nome, Alaska 99762. 907 443-5491 or 800-570-5444. Fax, 907-443-3748. execdir@gnome.net. Provides shelter for women and children who are victims of domestic violence, crisis telephone, community education about domestic violence and sexual assault, village outreach and education, supervision of safe homes in villages. Palmer, Alaska Family Services. 1825 South Chugach Street. Palmer, Alaska 99645. 907-746-4080 or 866-746-4080. ecofs.org. Alaska Family Services operates an emergency shelter, rape crisis advocates and legal advocacy. The Family Center. 403 South Alaska Street. 907-746-6260. Seward Seaview Community Services SCS. 302 Railway Avenue. P.O. Box 1045, Seward, Alaska 99664. 907-224-5257. 888-224-5257. Fax, 907-224-7081. Seward.net/Seaview. SeaviewsUAD.org. Sitka, Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, Sitka Office. POB 6631. Sitka, Alaska 99835. 907-747-7545. Fax, 907-747-7547. info@nvsa.org. Sitkans Against Family Violence SAFV. POB 6136. 907-747-6511. 800-478-6511. Fax, 907-747-3450. safv.org. info@safv.org. UNALASKA Unalaskans Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence USAF. POB 36. Unalaska, Alaska 99685. 1-800-478-7238. Fax, 907-581-4568. U.S. Air Force Viet@arctic.net. Valdez Advocates for Victims of Violence AVV. POB 524. Valdez, Alaska 99686. 907-835-2980. Fax, 907-835-2981. avvalaska.org. executive@avvalaska.org. Chugashmiut. 1840 Espraga, Suite 110. Anchorage, Alaska 99508. 907-562-4155. 800-478-4155. Fax 907-563-2891. info@chugashmiut.org. Tribal consortium created to promote self-determination to the 7 native communities of the Chugach region. South Central Foundation. 4501 Diplomacy Drive Suite 200. 877-837-4251. 907-729-4955. 800-478-3343. SouthCentralFoundation.com. South Central Foundation work together with the Native community to achieve wellness through health and related services. Anvik Tribal Council / Tanana Chiefs Conference. Stop Violence Project. POB 10. Anvik, Alaska 99558. 907-663-6322. Fax 907-663-6357. AnvikTribalCouncil.com. AnvikTribal@hotmail.com. Bristol Bay Native Association. POB 310. 1500 Kanakanak Road. 800-478-5257 or 907-842-5257. Fax 907-842-2338. bbna.com. Ketchikan Indian Community Corporation. 2960 Tongass Avenue, 1st floor. Ketchikan, Alaska 99901. 800-252-5158. 907-228-4941. KICtribe.org. KIC's services and programs include health and dental clinic, employment and training, general assistance for disadvantaged families and individuals. Sitka Tribe of Alaska. 456 Catlean Street. 800-746-3207. 907-747-3207. Fax 907-747-4915. SitkaTribe.org. ANVSA.org, Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. ANVSA.org/shelters-and-services, member programs. ANVSA.org/shelters-and-communities-served-2/communities-served, by program location. ANVSA.org/shelters-and-communities-served-2/communities-programs, by community. AlaskaWomen's Network.org/domestic_violence.html, Alaska Women's Network. AKNativeWomen.com, Alaska Native Women's Coalition. UPicWomen.org, Yupik Women's Coalition. dps.state.ak.us/cdvsa, Council on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. dps.state.ak.us/cdvsa/help/victims.aspx, services. womenslaw.org/get-help_state.php?state_code=AK, state resources. aardvark.org/dv/states/active.shtml dps.state.ak.us/help/men.aspx, Alaska Council on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. The Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, ANVSA. 907-586-5643. Abused Women's Aid. In Crisis. 100 West 13th Avenue. Anchorage, Alaska 99504. 907-272-0100. 907-279-0581. Advocates for Victims of Violence. POB 524. Valdez, Alaska 99686. 907-835-2999. Aware. POB 02089. Juneau, Alaska 99802. 907-586-1090. Bering Sea Women's Group. Box 1596. Nome, Alaska 99762. 800-570-5444. 907-443-5491. Emmonak Women's Shelter. POG 207. Emmonak, Alaska 99581. 907-949-1434. Safe and fear-free environment. POG 94. Dillingham, Alaska 99576. 907-843-2320. South Peninsula Women's Service, Inc. 3776 Lake St. Number 100. Homer, Alaska 99603. 907-235-7712. 907-235-8101. Women in Crisis. 717 9th Avenue. Fairbanks, Alaska 99701. 907-452-2293. Women in Safe Homes. POB 6552. Ketchikan, Alaska 99901-1552. 907-225-9474. Arizona Domestic Violence Help and Local Shelters. 100 West Camelback St. Number 109. Phoenix, Arizona 85103. 800-782-6400. 602-279-2900. acadvetgoodnet.com. ozacdv.org. 2-1-1 Arizona, Community Information and Referral. 2200 North Central Avenue Suite 601. Phoenix, Arizona 85004. Maricopa County. 602-263-8856. 800-352-3792, outside Phoenix area. CIRS.org. Provides referral information to residents of 10 Arizona counties, including Apache, Coconino, Gila, La Paz, Maricopa, Mojave, Navajo, Pinal, Yavapai, and Yuma. Arizona Coalition to End Domestic Violence. 301 East Bethany Home Road Suite C194. Phoenix, Arizona 85012. 1-800-782-6400. 602-279-2900. 602-279-7270. azcadv.org. academicv@azcadv.org. Legal Advocacy Hotline in English and Spanish, Online Sexual and Domestic Violence Library, Safety Planning, List of shelters and other services within Arizona. Arizona Humane Society Project Safe House. 1521 West Dobbins Road. Phoenix, Arizona 85041-8200. 602-997-7586. Fax, 602-268-2750. azhumane.org/r-services/alternative-placement. Alternative placement at azhumane.org. Provides temporary foster care for pets of domestic violence victims. Domestic Violence/Homelessness Shelter Bed Hotline. 1-800-799-7739. 602-263-8900. Contact Shelter Hotline. Our Family, Information and Referral Services. 3830 East Bellevue St. Tucson, Arizona 85716. Pima County. 520-323-1708. OurFamilyServices.org. Affordable Housing, Emergency Shelter Services. Teen Lifeline. POG 10745. Phoenix, Arizona 85064. 602-248-8336, Teen, Maricopa County. 602-248-8337, Business Line. 800-248-8336, Teen, Statewide Hotline. TeenLifeline.org. 24/7 hotline for resources and peer support for teens, after-hours support provided by the Crisis Response Network. Targets suicide, depression, bullying, and relationships. Online resources for teens, friends, parents, and educators. Facebook page, facebook.com/teenlifeline. APACHEAMA Du Alkini Big Han, Inc. Intervention for Domestic Violence Victims. epub 1279. Chinle, Arizona 86503. 928-674-8314, after 5 p.m., call Chinle Hospital ER at 928-674-7090 and ask for to be on-call person. 928-674-8309. 877-698-0899, toll-free. adabai.org. Kachai's Forgosh House Domestic Crisis Shelter. epub 1961. Sierra Vista, Arizona 85636. 520-458-9096. Provides a 24-hour hotline, shelter, support group, food, counseling, and case management services to victims of domestic violence. Kachai's House of Hope, Crisis Intervention. Douglas, AZ. 520-364-2465. 800-586-9161. 24/7 Domestic Abuse and Sexual Assault Hotline and Shelter. Coconino Another Way Page Task Force Against Domestic Violence. 615 Elm St. epub 3686. Page, Arizona 86040. 928-645-5300. Another Way at cableone.net. Coconino Kateri Services. 2113 Northwest Street. Flagstaff, Arizona 86004. 520-779-7141. 928-779-7141. Support Services for Women in Transition, Abuse Crisis Counseling. Northland Family Help Center. 2532 North 4th Street No. 506. 928-527-1900 or 1-877-634-2723. 928-774-4503. 928-527-1800, Youth Shelter. Northlandfamily.org. NFHC at northlandfamily.org. Gila Time Out Shelter. Time Out, Inc. epub 306. Payson, Arizona 85547. 928-472-8007. Fax, 928-472-8747. Timeoutshelter.org. Tashelt at npgcable.com. GOODYEAR New Life Center, Inc. epub 5005. Goodyear, Arizona 85338. 623-932-4404. Fax, 623-536-1147. newlifectr.org. See Vital at newlifectr.org. Shelter, bilingual staff, Spanish/English, food, clothing, bedding, individual and group support, 120-day program for families. GRAHAMMT. Graham Safe House, Inc. epub 1202. Safford, AZ. 928-348-9104. 888-269-9104. mtgramsh.org. MGSH Inc. at cableone.net. Southeastern AZ Behavioral Health Services. 1615 South 1st Avenue. Safford, Arizona 85546. 4550. Kingman Aid to Abused People, KAAP. POB 1046. 1770 Airway Avenue. Kingman, Arizona 86401. 928-753-4242. 928-753-6222. Fax, 928-753-2597. micaap.org. caap@citlink.net. La Paz, Colorado River Regional Crisis Shelter. 1301 Joshua Avenue Suite C, Administrative Office. Parker, Arizona 85344. 928-669-0107. 888-499-0911, toll free. Fax, 928-669-2194. crrcs.com. 24-hour crisis hotline, shelter, for all of La Paz County, support, assistance, advocacy, counseling, emergency food, clothing, personal needs. Maricopa 2-1-1 Arizona, Community Information and Referral. 602-263-8856. Provides referral information to residents of 10 Arizona counties, including Apache, Cochise, Coconino, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, La Paz, Maricopa, Mojave, Navajo, Pima, Pinal, Santa Cruz, Yavapai, Yuma. A New Leaf, Autumn House Domestic Violence Shelter, East Valley. Mesa, AZ. 480-835-5555. turnanewleaf.org/services/domestic-violence.html. info@turnanewleaf.org. A New Life Shelters, call the centralized screening hotline at 480-890-3039 or 1-844-SAFEDVS. A New Leaf, Faith House Domestic Violence Shelter and Transitional Home, West Valley. Glendale, AZ. 623-939-6798. A New Leaf Shelters, call the centralized screening hotline at 480-890-3039 or 1-844-SAFEDVS. Chicanos por la Causa, Inc. Domestic Violence Prevention. CPLC de Colores. Phoenix, Arizona 85034. 602-269-1515. 602-257-0700. Fax, 602-256-2740. cplc.org/social-services/de-colores.aspx. Chrysalis Shelter. 2055 West Northern Avenue. Phoenix, Arizona 85021. 602-944-4999. 602-955-9059. Fax, 602-955-0165. chrysalis-shelter.org. chrysalis@noabuse.org. Residential Crisis Shelter with up to 120-day stay. Community Alliance Against Family Abuse. 185 North Apache Trail Suite 1. Mailing, POB 3778, zip code 85117. Apache Junction, Arizona 85120. 480-982-0196 or 877-982-0196. 480-982-0205. caafaz.org. Operates a 24-hour crisis line and provides a safe house, basic personal necessities, individual empowerment sessions with an advocate, support group, and legal assistance, as well as preventative workshops. Doves, Domestic Older Victims Empower and Safety. 602-264-4357. 888-264-2258, toll free. AAPHX.org/program-services/doves-program. Family Advocacy Center. 3700 North 75th Street, Scottsdale, Arizona 85251. 480-312-6300. 480-312-4226. Fax 480-312-9004. scottsdaleaz.gov/assistance/fac/domestic. Victim services at scottsdaleaz.gov. Serves Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Paradise Valley, Cave Creek, Carefree, Tempe, the Salt River Pima Community, and the county jurisdictions in the Northeast Valley. House of Refuge, East 6935 East Williamsfield Road, Mesa, Arizona 85212. 480-988-9242. 480-890-3039, Domestic Violence Shelter Hotline. 602-595-8700. Fax 480-988-2405. hrist.org. info@houseofrefuge.org. Faith-based organization in Southeast Mesa. Maricopa County DV Shelter Centralized Screening. 480-890-3039. peerehab.org/dvservices.asp. 24/7 Hotline, bilingual, English/Spanish. Maricopa Mesa Police Department Center Against Family Violence. 130 North Robson, Mesa, Arizona 85201-6697. 480-644-4075. acfn.net/centers/mesa-center.hdm. Maricopami Sisters Place/Pathways. POB 1869. Chandler, Arizona 86244. 480-821-1024. 602-821-1024. CatholicCharities.org/my-sisters-place/00007. Salvation Army's Elim House. 707 East Van Buren St. Phoenix, AZ. 602-267-4111. 888-267-0197, toll free. 602-267-4143. SalvationArmyPhoenix.org/#! Domestic-violence-shelter/CU0S. Save the Family. 125 East University Drive, Mesa, Arizona 85201. 480-898-0228. 602-263-8900, 24-hour emergency shelter and crisis hotline. Fax 480-898-9007. SaveTheFamily.org. Homeless shelter with specific resources directed at women and children who have experienced domestic violence. 14 units of housing in North Phoenix, transitional housing, supportive services. Shelter Without Walls. 4747 North 7th Street. 602-452-4640. 602-534-3087, Spanish. jfcsarizona.org. Sojourner Center. POB 20156. Phoenix, Arizona 85036. 602-244-0089 or 602-889-1610, TDD. 602-244-0997. 888-886-8793 886-8794, TDD. Fax 602-244-8006. sojournercenter.org/go. The City of Phoenix Family Advocacy Center. 2120 North Central Avenue Suite 250. 602-534-2120. 888-246-0303, toll free. acfn.net/centers/phoenix-family.hdm. acfn.net/member-centers.hdm. Mojave Interagency Council, Lake Havasu City. 1940 Mesquite Avenue, Lake Havasu City, Arizona 86403. 928-855-8877. 928-453-5800. 888-453-5802. Fax 928-453-2891. lhcaz.gov/attorney/dv_task_force.html. Services, counseling, support groups, and safety planning programs. Further domestic violence resources for the area available here. http://lhcaz.gov/attorney/referral-numbers.html. Navajolis Place Empowerment Center. 312E. 2nd Street. POB 904. Winslow, Arizona 86047. 888-531-7233. 928-289-3003. Fax 928-289-2892. AlicesPlaceShelter.org. info@alicesplaceshelter.org. Services include crisis intervention, temporary shelter, advocacy and social services, court accompaniment, filing of protection orders, and safety planning. Hopi Domestic Violence Program. POB 1226. Keams Canyon, Arizona 86034. 928-738-1115. 928-814-7093, Victim Advocate Cell Phone. 928-814-7095, Victim Advocate Cell Phone. Fax 928-737-2697. Response to domestic violence, teen dating violence, stalking, sexual abuse. Offers referrals to shelters off the reservation and to resources through the Hopi Healthcare Center or Behavioral Health, which offer counseling and a child sexual abuse program. Totona's High Shelter/Kayenta DV Task Force. POB 1510. Kayenta, Arizona 86033. 928-697-8591. 877-697-8591, toll free. 928-697-3635, office line. Fax 928-697-8592. 24/7 Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Shelter Program on the Navajo Reservation. White Mountain Safe House. POB 1890. Pine Top, Arizona 85935. 800-224-1315, emergency. 928-367-6017. wmsafehouse.org. wmsh@cybertrails.com. Shelter for up to 90 days for people who have experienced physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, non-residential services including individual and group support. Resources available on website for safety planning and understanding abuse and control. Phoenix Family Advocacy Center. 2120 North Central Avenue, Suite 250. phoenix.gov/human-services/programs/victims/FAC. Pima Administration of Resources and Choices and Elder Shelter Project. Tucson, AZ. 520-623-3341. 520-566-1919. 520-339-2801, Elder Care Services Crisis Line. Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse. 520-795-4266, 888-428-0101, toll free. 520-795-8001, Admin Office, Wings of Freedom. 520-881-7201, Voices Against Violence. emergecenter.org. Call 520-573-3637, bilingual line. Indian Health Service, San Xavier Health Services. 7900 SJ Stock Road, Tucson, Arizona 85746-7012. 520-295-2550. 520-295-2405. Fax 520-295-2602. 520205. Southern Arizona Children's Advocacy Center, 2329 East Ajo Way, Tucson, Arizona 85713. 520-319-5511. 520-243-6420. Fax 520-243-6422. soazadvocacy.org. Westhouse Shelter Hotlines, 520-746-1501. 1-888-428-0101. 24/7 bilingual, English/Spanish, hotline for survivors of domestic violence, provides referrals to shelters and other resources. Wingspan anti-violence programs, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender resource. 375 South Euclid Avenue, Tucson, Arizona 85705. 520-624-0348. 1-800-553-9387. Wingspan.org/program/anti-violence-project. 520-624-1779 and ask to speak to an anti-violence program staff person. Pinal Against Abuse, Inc. 119 North Florence Street, Casa Grande, Arizona 85122. 520-836-0858, 24-hour. 520-836-1239. against-abuse.org. AAI@against-abuse.org. Horizon Human Services, 210 East Cottonwood Lane, Casa Grande, Arizona 85222. 928-402-0648. 520-836-1688. Fax 520-876-1796. horizonhumanservices.org/dvservices.asp. Horizon@horizonhumanservices.org. Santa Cruz Crossroads Rescue Mission, Nogales, AZ. 520-287-5828. Women's Shelter for Women and Children Following Domestic Violence. Chapel Services, referrals to court-related advocacy. Tucson University of Arizona, Oasis Center for Sexual Assault and Relationship Violence. 1225 East Lowell St. Room No. D301. Tucson, Arizona 85719. 520-626-2051. health.arizona.edu/hpps_oasis_program.htm. Yavapai Stepping Stones, 3343 North Windsong Drive, Prescott Valley, Arizona 86314. 928-445 Hope. 928-772-4184 Office. SteppingStonesAZ.org. info@steppingstonesaz.org. Yavapai Family Advocacy Center, POG 26495. Prescott Valley, Arizona 86312. 928-775-0669. Fax 928-759-0474. yfac.org. info@yfac.org. Forensic interviews, usually performed by law enforcement or child protective services investigator, sexual assault exams. Yavapai/Coconino Verde Valley Sanctuary, Sedona, Arizona 86339. 928-634-2511 or 1-800-930-7233. VerdeValleySanctuary.org. vvs@sedona.net. Yuma Amberley's Place. 1350 West Colorado St. Yuma, Arizona 85364. 928-373-0849. amberleysplace.com. Safe House Domestic Violence Shelter, Catholic Community Services in Western Arizona. 690 East 32nd St. Yuma. 928-782-0044 or 1-877-440-0550. 928-782-0077. ccs-soaz.org. Programs at ccs-westaz.org. azcadv.org, Arizona Coalition Against Domestic Violence. azcadv.org/domestic-violence-info/list-of-shelters-and-list of shelters and DV providers. azcadv.org/helping-a-div-victim/resources-for-get-in/legal-advocacy-hotly, legal advocacy hotline. azsan.org, Arizona Sexual Assault Network. azsan.org/county.hdm, resource directory, domestic and sexual violence. azrapeprevention.org, Arizona Sexual Violence Prevention and Education Program. azrapeprevention.org/need_help, get help. azdps.gov/services/crime_victims, crime victims services. azdps.gov/services/crime_victims/service agencies/domestic, crime victims services, domestic violence. azdps.gov/services/crime_victims/service agencies/assault, crime victims services, sexual assault/abuse. phoenix.gov/humans-services/programs/victims/fac/index.html, City of Phoenix Family Advocacy Center. cir.org/contacts, contacts shelter hotline. acfn.net/centers/north-az-assault.htm, Northern Arizona Center Against Sexual Assault. SACAZA.org, Southern Arizona Center Against Sexual Assault. SACAZA.org/resources-weblinks.htm. SWIWC.org, Southwest Indigenous Women's Coalition. ASOFSEF.org, Arizona South Asians for Safe Families. TheBrewsterCenter.org, The Brewster Center. Women'sLaw.org. womens'slaw.org/gethelp_state.php?state_code=AZ, state_type.php?type_type.type_ID=1737 &state_code=AZ, statewide programs.programas womens'law.org/gethelp_state_type.php?type_ID=1738 &state_code=AZ, local programs.programas locales. womens'law.org/laws_state.php?state_code=AZ, know the laws.conajka lawlay. ncavp.org/avps/default.aspx number sign AZ, LGBT anti-violence programs. aardvark.org/dv/states/azdv.shtml. Crisis Center for Battered Women. 401 Lexington Avenue. Ft. Smith, Arizona 72901. 501-782-4596. Faith House. 1535 Private Road. Prescott, Arizona 86301. 602-445-4673. Graham Greenlee Counseling Center. Box 956. Safford, Arizona 85548. 520-428-4550. Prehab of Arizona, Inc. 868 East University Drive. Mesa, Arizona 85203. 602-969-4024. 602-835-5555. Safe House. 690 East 32nd St. Yuma, Arizona 85365. 602-782-0077. 602-782-0044. Sojourner Center. POG 20156. Phoenix, Arizona 85036. 602-258-5348. Tucson Rape Crisis Center. POG 40306. Tucson, Arizona 85717. 520-327-1171. 520-327-7273. Arkansas Domestic Violence Help and Local Shelters. 1 Sheriff Lane. Number C. N. Little Rock, Arkansas 72114. 501-812-0571. 800-269-4668. 800-332-4443. DomesticPeace.com, Arkansas Coalition Against Domestic Violence. DomesticPeace.com/shelters.html, map and list of all shelters by city. DomesticPeace.com/members.html, member shelters. Arkansas Coalition Against Domestic Violence. 1401 West Capitol Suite 170. Little Rock, Arkansas 72201. 866-331-9474 for teen dating abuse. 800-269-4668. 501-907-5612. DomesticPeace.com. Arkansas Coalition Against Sexual Assault. 200 River Market Avenue Suite 100. 1-800-977-5776. 501-246-3276. ACASA.US. A statewide coalition of individuals and organizations working together toward the elimination of sexual violence and advocating for sexual assault victims' rights and services. Batesville Family Violence Prevention and Rape Crisis Center. 192 East Main Street. POG 2943. Batesville, Arkansas 72503. 800-894-8821. 870-793-4011. 870-793-8111. Safe Haven 2007 at sbcglobal.net. Spanish Speakers LGTB Friendly Support Group IT. 2016, Buyers St. Batesville, Arkansas 72501870698-0006. Benton, Saline County Safe Haven, Inc. POG 1100. Benton, Arkansas 72018-1100. 501-315-7233, 24 hours. Facebook.com/pages/Saline-County-Safe-Haven. Angels at SalineSafeHaven.org. Its mission is to promote and provide services that address the physical, social, and emotional needs of victims of domestic violence within this community and to offer shelter services, advocacy, a weekly support group, and crisis line services. BLYTHEVILLE The Haven of Northeast Arkansas. POG 1062. Blytheville, Arkansas 72316. 800-474-1064. 870-532-6669. thehavenofnia.org. The HAVNIA at att.net. Provides emergency shelter, supportive care, and education to victims of domestic abuse and their children, so that they can live abuse-free lives. Camden Women's Crisis Center of South Arkansas, Buxa. 1112 W. Washington. Camden, Arkansas 71701. 870-836-0375, Office. 888-836-0325, toll-free Houghton. 870-836-0325, local hotline. Facebook.com/pages/women's-crisis-center-of-South-Arkansas. Academic V6 at sbcglobal.net. Dedicated to the empowerment of victims of domestic/sexual abuse. Works with domestic violence, sexual assault, community outreach, and advocacy. Clarksville Ozark Rape Crisis Center. 715 West Main Street, Clarksville, Arkansas 72830. 800-818-1189, toll free. 479-754-6869. OzarkRapeCrisis.com. Orksy at CenturyTel.net. 24-hour crisis intervention services for victims of sexual assault. All services are confidential and free of charge. Clinton Dove House, epub 806. Clinton, Arkansas 72031. 501-745-5657, store. 501, 592.138, texting number. Facebook.com/pages/the-dove-house-inc. An outreach office and thrift store that supports victims of domestic violence. Conway Women's Shelter of Central Arkansas. epub 2557. Conway, Arkansas 72032. 866-358-2265. 501-329-7405, office. ConwayWomen'sShelter.com. WSCA at conwaycorp.net. Dardanelle Samaritan Outreach Family Violence Center. epub 183. Dardanelle, Arkansas 72834. 479-229-3300. 1-888-814-8330, toll free. Domestic Violence Organization and Shelter. El Dorado Turning Point. 900 East 1st Street. El Dorado, Arkansas 71730. 888-880-0929, toll free. 870-862-3672, office. 870-862-0929, local hotline. Turning Point 2 VIP at sbcglobal.net. Domestic Violence, Violence Intervention Program, and Rape Crisis Center. Fayetteville Peace at Home Family Shelter. epub 10946. Fayetteville, Arkansas 72703. 877-442-9811, toll free. 479-442-9811, local. peaceathomeshelter.org. Services include 24-hour crisis line, advocacy, support groups, and follow-up services. Services are also provided in Spanish. Fort Smith Donald W. Reynolds Crisis Intervention Center. 5603 South 14th St. Fort Smith, Arkansas 72901. 479-782-4956. 800-359-0056, toll free. 479-782-1821, office. fscic.org. Services: Emergency Shelter, Child Care Program, and Sexual Assault Response Center. They also provide services in Spanish. Harrison Ozark Rape Crisis Center. 600 South Pine Street, Suite A. Harrison, Arkansas 72601. 870-741-4141, local. 800-818-1189, toll free. 870-741-1328, office. 24-hour crisis intervention services for victims of sexual assault. All services are confidential and free of charge. Sanctuary. 124 West Stevenson. epub 762. 870-741-2121. 870-741-2315, office. 877-561-8100, Hotline. Facebook.com/pages/the-sanctuary-shop. Sancuary1981@windstream.net. Battered Women's Shelter and Consignment Shop. Shop phone number, 870-743-0074. Heber Springs Margie's Haven House. POB 954. Heber Springs, Arkansas 72543. 501-362-6757. margieshavenhouse.org. Margie's Haven House at att.net. Services, 24-hour crisis line, advocacy, support groups, and follow-up services. They also provide services in Spanish. Healnath Family Center, Inc. Anna's Place/Angels of Grace, Forest City. 406 Pecan Street. Helena, Arkansas 72342. 877-572-9530, toll free. 870-338-8447, office. Fax, 870-338-8048. TheFamilyCenterInc.com. ggoner0614@yahoo.com. Services, short-term emergency shelter, advocacy, assistance with orders of protection, individual counseling, support groups for residents and non-residents, emergency food/clothing, speakers bureau, housing assistance, children's services, and financial literacy. Jonesboro Family Crisis Center. POB 721. Jonesboro, Arkansas 72403. 870-933-9449. 870-972-9575, office. neafamilycenter.org/contact.php. Services, emergency shelter and community support services. Women's Crisis Center of Northeast Arkansas. POB 721. 866-982-9575, toll free. 870-972-9575, administrative office. KeepNeaWomenSafe.org. Little Rock Union Rescue Mission, Dorcas House. 823 South Park. Little Rock, Arkansas 72202. 501-374-4022. Fax, 501-370-0804. Doormission.org. Dorcas@doormission.org. Faith-based women's only ministry. Services include housing, classes, counseling, and daily chapel time. Women and Children First, the Center Against Family Violence. POB 1954. Little Rock, Arkansas 72203. 800-332-4443. 501-376-3219. WCFArkansas.org. Meant to empower women and their children to live independently and free from domestic violence by providing crisis intervention, shelter, social/legal advocacy, and support services. Magnolia Living Water. POB 1734. Magnolia, Arkansas 71754. 870-235-1414. 870-235-1415. Facebook.com/pages/living-water-domestic-violence-shelter-program. cflivingwater@yahoo.com. Services, domestic violence safety or escape planning, suicide prevention, and rape crisis intervention. MALVERN The Smith House of HSC, Inc. POB 966. Malvern, Arkansas 72104. 501-332-2555. 501-332-4673 Office. Provides temporary housing for women and children who have been victims of domestic violence. Melbourne Safe Passage. 703 Main Street. POB 755. Melbourne, Arkansas 72556. 870-368-3222. 870-368-3236. Services, shelter and counseling. They also provide services in Spanish. Monticello Options, Inc. 110 North Main Street, epub 554. Monticello, Arkansas 71655. 870-367-3488. 870-460-0684, Office. Fax, 870-460-0784. SafePortinastorm.com. Options.inc1989@gmail.com. Short-term emergency shelter for abused, homeless victims of domestic violence. MORRILTON The Safe Place. epub 364. Morrilton, Arkansas 72110. 888-554-2501 toll free. 501-354-1884. Thessa FE Place at SuttonLinkMail.com. Serves women and children who are victims of domestic violence. Provides shelter for up to 60 days. Mountain View, Stone County Abuse Prevention, Incorporated, SCAP. Family Crisis Center, Outreach Office. epub 689. Mountain View, Arkansas 72560. 800-924-5356. 870-269-9027. 870-269-4888. StoneCountyAbusePrevention.com. SCAP@mvital.net. Services, 24/7 hotline, women's shelter, court advocacy and community education. Moodin Home Serenity, Inc. epub 1111. 1015 Highway 62. Moodin Home, Arkansas 72653. 870-424-7233. 870-424-7576. SerenityInc.org. Serenity@mtnhome.com. Services, shelter, advocacy and community outreach. Newport White River Battered Women's Shelter. epub 304. Newport, Arkansas 72112. 870-523-5000. 870-523-5403. Fax, 870-523-5403. wrbws@hotmail.com. Provides shelter, counseling, food, clothing, and transportation. Pine Bluff Committee Against Spouse Abuse, CASA. 721 Laurel St. epub 6705. Pine Bluff, Arkansas 71601. 870-535-0287. 870-535-2955. Fax, 870-535-2034. CASA Women's Shelter 2 at CableLNX.com. Emergency shelter for battered women and children. Rogers Northwest AR Women's Shelter. epub 1059. Rogers, Arkansas 72757. 479-246-9999. 800-775-9011, toll free. 479-246-0353, office. nvovs.org. Russellville River Valley Shelter for Battered Women and Children. epub 2066. Russellville, Arkansas 72811. 479-968-3110. 479-968-3110. rivervalleyshelter.org. info@rivervalleyshelter.org. Services, emergency shelter, food, clothing for women and children who are victims of domestic violence. Searcy Hope Cottage, White County Domestic Violence Prevention. epub 1196. Searcy, Arkansas 72143-1196. 501-278-4673, Clients Call Collect. 501-278-5130. hopepackage.info. wcdvp@sbcglobal.net. Women's Shelter. Sheridan Keeping the Faith. epub 323. Sheridan, Arkansas 72150. 870-942-9994. 870-942-7373. Fax 870-942-5808. Provides shelter for up to 60 days. Provides emergency services, legal and financial services, counseling, housing, and support. Springdale AR Rape Crisis Center. 614 East Emma Street Suite 247. Springdale, Arkansas 72764. 479-927-1020 or 800-794-4175. 479-927-1025. nwarapecrisis.com. Services, hotline, advocacy, support groups, one-on-one support, and community education. Stuttgart Restoration of Hope. epub 812. Stuttgart, Arkansas 72160. 866-884-4637. 870-672-4341. Fax 870-672-4777. restofhope@cpomail.net. Provides emergency shelter. Texarkana Domestic Violence Prevention and Sexual Assault Services. 424 Spruce St. epub 712. Texarkana, Texas 75501. 903-793-4357 or 800-876-4808. 903-794-4000. Fax 903-792-2924. Facebook.com/pages/domestic-violence-prevention-inc. Serves residents of Texarkana in both TX and AR. West Memphis Families in Transition. epub 14. West Memphis, Arkansas 72303. 870-732-4077. Fax 870-732-1061. fitfamilies@comcast.net. Domestic Violence Emergency Shelter for Families. ACASA.US, Arkansas Coalition Against Sexual Assault. acasa.us/help.html, list crisis centers. acasa.us/map_membership.html, map of crisis centers. womenslaw.org/get-help_state.php ?state_code =AR, state resources.ncavp.org/avps/default.aspx number (AR), LGBT anti-violence programs. aardvark.org/dv/states/arcdv.shtml. Kodiak Women's Resource and Crisis Center. 422 Millside Drive. Kodiak, Alaska 99615. 907-486-6171. 907-486-3625. Project for Victims of Family Violence. epub 1923. Fayetteville, Arkansas 72702. 501-442-9811. California Domestic Violence Help and Local Shelters. CPEDV.org, California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. FVLC.org, Family Violence Law Center. Office in Oakland. FVLC.org/get-help/survivor-stories, resources. CALCASA.org, California Coalition Against Sexual Assault. CALCASA.org/members, membership list by county. purpleberets.org/index.html, purpleberets. Serving Northern California. SONIT.org/orgns/aasra.html. apwcla.org, Asian Pacific Women's Center. NurturingChange.org, Center for the Pacific Asian Family. Maytarai.org, Maitri. my-sisters-house.org, My Sister's House. Narika.org, Narika. charityfocus.org/host/Sahara, South Asian Helpline and Referral Agency. SouthAsianNetwork.org, South Asian Network. womenslaw.org/get-help_state.php?state_code=ca, state resources. ncavp.org/avps/default.aspx #ca, LGBT anti-violence programs. Tricone. Quavi.org, LGBTQ Community United Against Violence, San Francisco. aardvark.org/dv/states/ca.html. safenetwork.net/agencylist.aspx, California Domestic Violence Resources. Genesee.org, Los Angeles. Berkeley, 510-547-4663. East Bay Area, 510-794-6055. LA County, 800-978-3600. Orange County, 949-498-1511. San Diego, 800-479-3339. San Francisco, 877-503-1850, Adults, 877-923-0700, Teens. San Luis Obispo, 805-549-8989, 800-549-8989. San Mateo, 650-312-8515. California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. epub 1798. Sacramento, California, 95812-1798. Sacramento County. 800-524-4765 Monday, Friday 9 to 5 o'clock. 916-444-7163. Fax, 916-444-7165. cpedv.org. info@cpedv.org. Children of the Night. 14530 Sylvan Street. Van Nuys, California, 91411. Los Angeles County. 800-551-1300. 818-908-4474. Fax, 818-908-1468. childrenofthenight.org. lee@childrenofthenight.org. Dedicated to assisting children aged 11 to 17 who are sexually abused and who prostitute on the streets for food and shelter. Free Battered Women. 1540 Market St. Suite 490. San Francisco, California, 94102. 415-255-7036, extension 320. Fax, 415-552-3150. freebatteredwomen.org/index.html. info@freebatteredwomen.org. Free Battered Women works with domestic violence survivors incarcerated in California state prisons. Two Feathers Native American Family Services. 2355 Central Avenue Suite C. McKinleyville, California, 95519. Humboldt County. 1-800-341-9454. 707-839-1933. Fax, 707-839-1726. twofeathers-nafs.org. Services for the Native American community include Women's Program, Social Work Services, Emergency Services, Transportation, Advocacy Programs, Therapy, Children's Program, Education, and Information and Referrals. Your Public Law Library. publiclawlibrary.org Includes information on California law and provides a service where you can ask a law librarian for legal information via a live chat. Alameda Safe Place. POG 23006. Oakland, California 94623. 510-536-7233. Office 510-986-8600. 510-986-8606. Fax 510-986-8606. AsafiPlaceDVS.org. Programs at AsafiPlaceDVS.org. Provides services for victims of domestic violence, including a 24-hour crisis and referral line, an emergency shelter program, up to 8 weeks stay, an interim motel program, if the space in the shelter is full, and other supportive services. Alameda County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Division. 1225 Fallon Street, Room 900. Oakland, California 94612. 510-272-6222. Fax 510-271-5157. alcoda.org/victim_witness. info@alcoda.org. The Victim Witness Assistance Division of the Alameda County District Attorney's Office provides a variety of services for crime victims, witnesses, and their families as they work through the emotional trauma of their victimization. Information is available in English, Spanish, Chinese and Farsi. Bay Area Women Against Rape. 470 27th Street. 510-845-7273 English and Spanish 24-hour hotline. 510-430-1298. Fax 510-430-2579. bawar.org. bawr@bawar.org. For persons in Alameda County who are dealing with the trauma of a sexual assault, we offer the services they need the most: experienced counseling and advocacy 24 hours per day. For the survivor, we have a listener who will not judge, criticize, or be easily shocked. In-person counseling, accompaniment, advocacy, and support during the medical and judicial processes complete our response to the needs of the sexual assault survivor. Building futures with women and children. 1395 Bancroft Avenue. San Leandro, California 94577. 866, A Way Out, 292-9688. 510-357-0205. Fax, 510-357-0688. bfwc.org. admin@bfwc.org. Services include emergency shelters, case management, assistance with housing and employment and follow-up care. Def Hope. 470 27th Street. 510-735-8553 VP. 510-267-8800V. deaf-hope.org. defhope@def-hope.org. Def Hope provides crisis intervention services including peer counseling about DVSV, support groups, systems advocacy, and referral to DVSV legal services and shelter. As we are often in court or in the field, Def Hope services are available by appointment. A member of our team is in the office every Tuesday from 10-12 p. for drop-in services. Family Violence Law Center. 800-947-8301. 510-208-0220. Fax, 510-208-3557. fvlc.org. info@fvlc.org. Law. At FVLC, we offer complete services to residents of Alameda County, California, who are experiencing domestic violence. Nerica. POB 14014. Berkeley, California 94712. 800-215-7308. 510-444-6068. Fax, 510-444-6025. nerica.org. Anerica@anerica.org provides a culturally sensitive domestic violence helpline and advocacy, support, information, and referral services for South Asian women in the Bay Area, Northern California, and Central California. Shelter Against Violent Environments /S.A.V.E. 1900 Maury Avenue, Fremont, California 94538. 510-794-6055. 510-574-2250. Fax 510-574-2252. save-dv.org. dvshelter@aol.com. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, advocacy programs, medical outreach, counseling, support groups, children's program, teen dating violence program, community education and workplace violence education. Tri-Valley Haven for Women. 3663 Pacific Avenue, Livermore, California 94550. 925-449-5842 or 800-884-8119. 925-449-5845. 925-449-5845 EXT 2718 DV Group. TriValleyHaven.org. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, support group, counseling, and other advocacy programs. Alpine County District Attorney, Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 17300 Highway 89. Mailing address, POG 248. Markleeville, California 96120. 530-694-2971 Monday, Friday 8 to 5 o'clock. Fax, 530-694-2980. alpinecounty.ca.gov/index.aspx?NID =190. The Alpine County's Victim/Witness Assistance Program offers a wide variety of assistance to victims and witnesses of crime. Trained advocates can provide support through the court process and will keep you informed about the status of a criminal case. Advocates may also assist victims with submitting requests for restitution, filing claims for victims of crime compensation, and much more. Amador County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 708 Court Street, Jackson, California 95642. 209-223-6444. Fax, 209-223-6304. co.amador.ca.us/government/district-attorney. Hours, MF 8 to 5, some services available online. The Victim/Witness Assistance Program offers the following assistance: orientation to the criminal justice system, case status/disposition, victim impact statements, court escorts, crisis intervention, restitution assistance, victim compensation claims. Operation Care. 621 New York Ranch Road. 209-223-2600 or 800-675-3392. 209-223-2897. OperationCare.org. DV Counselor at OperationCare.org. Provides domestic violence and sexual assault support services including 24-hour crisis line, advocacy, support groups, prevention and education, safe house, counseling, youth programs and referrals. Butte County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Center, VWAC. 25 County Center Drive, Oroville, California 95965-3385. 530-538-7340. 530-538-7411 D.A.S. Office. Fax, 530-538-7071. buttecounty.net/da/victim.hdm. Victim assistance at buttecounty.net. The District Attorney's Office is committed to helping victims of crime and vigorously protecting their rights. VWAC's mandate is to alleviate the trauma and the frequently devastating effects of crimes of violence on the lives of victims, witnesses, and their families. Visit the website for a list of resources. Catalyst Domestic Violence Services. epub 4184. Chico, California 95927. 800-895-8476. 530-343-7711. CatalystDVServices.org. Catalyst at CatalystDVServices.org. Provides a 24-hour crisis/referral line, emergency shelter, counseling, support groups, children's program, temporary restraining order clinics, household establishment, legal advocacy, drop centers, and a program for teen domestic violence. Rape crisis intervention. epub 423. 530-342-7273. Collect calls welcome. 530-891-1331. Tehama County Office, 530-529-3980. Fax, 530-891-3680. rapecrisis.org. info@rapecrisis.org. Serving Butte, Glenn, and Tehama counties. Services include 24-hour crisis line, support, counseling, information, and referrals to other services. Calaveras County District Attorney's Victim Witness Program. 891 MT Ranch Road, San Andreas, California 95249. 209-754-6565. da.calaveras.gov.us/districtattorney/victimwitness.aspx. We provide information about your case, court accompaniment, an explanation of court proceedings, assistance in getting property returned, assistance in obtaining restitution, referrals to local medical providers, help in obtaining compensation from the state for crime-related medical bills, help in preparing a victim impact statement. Calaveras Crisis Center. Drop Center, 1404 Gold Hunter Road. Mailing address, epub 623. 209-736-4011. 209-754-1300. trcac.org. Provides counseling, shelter, assistance getting temporary restraining orders, referrals, courtroom and hospital accompaniment and support groups. The Resource Connection. 593 W St. Charles St., Suite B. 209-754-3114. 209-754-2000. Fax, 209-754-4014. info@trcac.org. The Resource Connection offers crisis services in the form of the Calaveras Crisis Center. Advocates and volunteers are certified to provide services for domestic violence and sexual assault victims/survivors. There are a number of services available including support groups, peer counseling, and various informational resources. Contra Costa Stand Against Domestic Violence. 1410 Dancing Plaza Suite 100. Concord, California 94520. 888-215-5555. 925-676-2845. Fax, 925-676-0532. StandAgainstDV.org. info@standffov.org. Services include prevention, intervention, and treatment services, children's therapy, 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, transitional housing, legal support, counseling, and advocacy programs. Del Norte County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Center. 450 H Street, Room 182. Crescent City, California 95531. 707-464-7273. co.del-norte.ca.us/departments/district-attorney/victim-witness. The Victim/Witness Assistance Center provides supportive services to victims and witnesses of crime. Victim advocates provide court escort for victims who must testify and to victims and their families at the time of sentencing. Staff work closely with criminal justice agencies to provide victims with timely, accurate case progress information. Rural Human Services. 286 M Street, Suite A. 707-465-3013. 707-464-7441. ruralhumanservices.org. rhswfc@gmail.com. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, food, clothing, information, and referrals to other services, counseling, educational and advocacy programs. East Contra Costa County Community Violence Solutions, Antioch Office. 301 West 10th Street No. 3. Antioch, California 94509. 800-670-7273. 925-706-4290. cvsolutions.org. admin@cvsolutions.org. Community Violence Solutions provides support services to child and adult victims of sexual assault and their families through these main programs: 24-hour crisis intervention hotline and rape crisis center, sexual assault response team, children's interview center, prevention services, anti-human trafficking, Stand in Pride, differential response team. El Dorado County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. Placerville Office. 515 Main Street, Placerville, California 95667. 530-642-4760 Victim Witness Unit. 530-621-4472 DA. Office. Fax, 530-544-6413. edcgov.us/government/eldota/victim/witness_unit.aspx. sue.meyer@edcgov.us. From South Lake Tahoe, 530-573-7955 EXT 6472, from El Dorado Hills 916-358-3553 EXT 6472. The Victim/Witness Assistance Program provides basic services that include the following: counseling, referral services, orientation to criminal justice system, property recovery, court escorts, and victim compensation claims. Live Violence Free. 2941 Lake Tahoe Boulevard, South Lake Tahoe, California 96150. 530-544-4444. 530-544-2118. liveviolencefree.org/index.html. Live Violence Free is committed to promoting a violence-free community through education and advocacy to address domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse. Provides 24-hour crisis hotline, peer counseling, crisis intervention, advocacy, and accompaniment to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault and child abuse, among other services. The Center for Violence-Free Relationships. 344 Placerville Drive, Suite 11. 530-626-113-1/916-939-6616. 530-626-145/916-939-4464. thecenternow.org. Formerly known as El Dorado Women's Center. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, counseling, legal services, children's services, advocacy, batterers intervention program, information and referrals. Fresno County Crime Victim Assistance Center, CVAC. 2233 Kern Street, Fresno, California 93721. 559-600-2822. co.fresno.ca.us/departmentpage.aspx?ID =12985. Fresno CO Probation at co.fresno.ca.us. Fresno County's Crime Victim Assistance Center, CVAC. Marjorie Mason Center, Inc. 1600 MST. 559-233-4357. 559-237-4706. mmcenter.org. Provides services for victims of domestic violence in Fresno County, which includes shelter, counseling, court accompaniment, and more. Victim advocates will also make referrals to Project First Step, in which pro bono lawyers represent victims at complicated restraining order cases. Rape Counseling Service of Fresno. 259 North Blackstone Avenue. Fresno, California 93701. 559-222-7273. 559-497-2900. rcsfresno.com. Services for victims and survivors of sexual assault and family violence. Humboldt County District Attorney's Victim Witness Program. 825 5th Street 4th floor. Eureka, California 95501. 707-445-7417. co.humboldt.ca.us/distudy. District Attorney at co.humboldt.ca.us. Victim witness advocates can go to court with you, explain the court process, keep you informed of court dates and outcomes, and help with a victim of crime claim assistance case. Humboldt Domestic Violence Services. epub 969. Eureka, California 95502. 24-hour crisis/support, 707-443-6042 or 866-668-6543. Fax, 707-444-3190. hdvs.org. DV services at hdvs.org. The main services offered are short and long-term shelter, emergency food and clothing assistance, court accompaniment, assistance with getting a temporary domestic violence restraining order, TRO, support groups with childcare provided, bilingual advocates, and referrals to other community agencies if a client needs something that they cannot provide. Humboldt Family Services Center. 1802 California Street. 707-443-7358. HumboldtFamilyService.org/contact-hfsc.html. HFSC is a non-profit community counseling agency offering individual, couple, child and family counseling. Special counseling services are provided for adolescents, and play therapy is available for the children. HFSC offers a free walk-in clinic each Monday from 1 to 4 p.m. North Coast Rape Crisis Team. Confidential. 707-443-2737. Fax, 707-443-2755. Services include 24-hour crisis counseling, accompaniment and advocacy, short-term counseling, support group, advocacy and accompaniment through the reporting process and court proceedings, and prevention education. Imperial Calexico Family Resource Center. 604 West Birch Street. Calexico, California 92231. 760-357-8247. 760-357-8035. madviolence.org. This organization provides some social services that may be helpful to victims of domestic violence. However, it is not an organization specifically for victims of domestic violence. Imperial County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Program. 940 West Main Street Suite 102. El Centro, California 92243. 442-265-1221. co.imperial.ca.us/district-attorney/victim-witness-program.html. The program has trained and experienced victim advocates to work with victims, witnesses, and their families throughout and beyond the criminal justice process. Woman Haven, Inc. 727 West Main Street. 760-353-8530. 760-353-6922. Fax, 760-353-8441. womanhaven.org/index.html. Our mission is to promote and provide a comprehensive response to domestic violence, stalking and human trafficking through community outreach and education, prevention, intervention, client support services, and safety and shelter services. Inyo County District Attorney, Victim Witness Division. 301 West Line St. Bishop, California 93514. 760-878-0282, Independence. 760-873-6669, Bishop. Family Law Facilitator, 760-872-4444. Wild Iris Women's Services, Bishop. epub 697. 150 North Main Street. Bishop, California 93515. 877-873-7384. Office, 760-873-6601. Fax, 760-873-8104. wild-iris.org. All of the services offered by Wild Iris are completely confidential, and are offered with dignity, respect, and compassion for our clients. Services include 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, safety planning, restraining orders, advocacy and accompaniment, crisis counseling and support groups, information and referrals, housing establishment and relocation, youth violence prevention and supervised visitation monitoring. Kern Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. 1921 19th Street. Bakersfield, California 93301. 661-327-1091 or LGBTQ 661-332-1506. 661-322-0931. 800-273-7713. Fax, 661-322-2916. KernAlliance.org. Provides services to victims of domestic violence and their children, including shelters, counseling, case management, and criminal justice advocacy. Please visit their website for a complete list of services. Taft Alpha House. epub 712. Taft, California 93268. 661-763-4357, 24 hours. 661-763-4357. alphahouse.us. alphahouse@bach.rr.com. A safe haven for women and children in western Kern County. Services include 24-hour hotline, case management and mentoring programs, emergency shelter, community education. Women's Center High Desert. 134 South China Lake Boulevard. Ridgecrest, California 93555. 760-375-7525 Domestic Violence/760-375-0745 Sexual Assault. 760-371-1969. WomenCenterHighDesert.org. Provides a network of services relating to domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse for eastern Kern County and surrounding counties. Services include shelter, sexual assault response team, child abuse prevention helpline, court advocacy, temporary restraining orders and legal assistance. Kings Community Action Organization, Inc. Crisis Support. 1130 North 11th Street. Hanford, California 93230. 877-727-3225. 559-582-4386. Fax, 599-584-6519. kcao.org. Services for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault include 24-hour crisis line, shelter, court accompaniment, legal advocacy, rape counseling, rape prevention, and sexual assault forensic exams. Kings County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Program. 1400 West Lacey Boulevard, Hanford, California 93230. 559-582-0326. Fax 559-583-9650. countyofkings.com/departments/public-safety/district-attorney. The Kings County Victim Witness Assistance Program seeks to make the criminal justice system more understandable, accessible, and responsive to the concerns of victims and witnesses. Lake Alternatives to Violence. Call for address: Clear Lake, California 95422. 707-262-0400. TerraceTjohn.com. Individual and group counseling services for victims of domestic violence. Lake County District Attorney's Victim Witness Division. 420 2nd Street, Lakeport, California 95453. 707-262-4282. co.lake.ca.us/government/directory/district_attorney.hdm. The Victim Witness Division provides immediate crisis response for victims of crime, free assistance in obtaining restraining orders and filling out victims of crime applications. Also provides an orientation to the criminal justice system and court accompaniment. The office does not provide shelter or an emergency hotline. Lassen County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 220 South Lassen St. Suite 8. Susanville, California 96130. 530-251-8283. Fax 530-251-2692. co.lassen.ca.us/government/department/victim_witness/default.asp. The Victim/Witness Assistance Program provides crisis intervention and resource and referral, criminal justice system orientation, court escort and support, advisory to victims to provide ongoing case status information. Lassen Family Services, Inc. 1306 Riverside Drive, epub 701. 530-257-5004 or 888-289-5004. 530-257-4599. LassenFamilyServices.org. Provides services for victims and survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, child and elder abuse. Los Angeles Domestic Violence Center of Santa Clarita Valley, epub 220037. Newhall, California 91322. 661-259-4357. 661-259-8175. Provides emergency shelter, 24-hour hotline, support groups for women, crisis intervention, counseling for women and children, legal service referrals, court-approved batterers program, community outreach, and community service programs. 1736 Family Crisis Center, 2116 Arlington Avenue, number 200. Los Angeles, California 90018. 310-370-5902. 323-737-3900, office. 310-543-9900, Community Service Center. 1736 FAMILYCRISISCENTER.org. Provides services for battered women and their children, including shelters, counseling, case management, free job training and job opportunities. 1736 Family Crisis Center, 24-HR Emergency Shelter. 1736 Monterey Avenue, Hermosa Beach, California 90277. 310-370-5902, will accept collect calls. 310-543-9900, extension 211. Fax 310-543-9910. Provides services for battered women and their children, including shelters, counseling, case management, free job training and job opportunities. 1736 Family Crisis Center, Los Angeles. 2116 Arlington Avenue, Suite 200. 213-745-6434 or 213-222-1237. 310-543-9900, extension 310. Provides shelters, counseling, case management, free job training and job opportunities. Angel Step In. 11500 Paramount Road, Downey, California 90241. 323-780-4357. 562-923-4545 EXT 2234. AngelsTEPIN.org. Safe at AngelsTEPIN.org. Provides emergency shelter for battered women with a history of using alcohol and other drugs. Also accept women without a history of drug or alcohol use. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, counseling, education, case management, and children's programs. Antelope Valley Domestic Violence Council. epub 4226. Lancaster, California 93539. 661-945-6736 or 800-282-4808. 661-949-6143. ValleyOasis.org/home.html. Provides services to all victims of domestic violence regardless of gender, age, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or sexual orientation. Break the Cycle. 6029 Bristol Parkway, Suite 201. Culver City, California 90230. 310-286-3366 or hotline for teens, 888-98018. 310-286-3383. Fax, 310-286-3386. BreakTheCycle.org. info@breakthecycle.org. Break the Cycle provides free and confidential legal services to young people who have been abused. Services available in English and Spanish. Center for the Pacific Asian Family, Inc. 1102 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles, California 90019. 800-339-3940 Multi-language hotline. 323-653-4045. Fax, 323-653-7913. nurturingchange.org. contact@cpaf.info. Specializing in assisting Pacific Asian women and children who are survivors of domestic violence. Services include 24-hour helpline, emergency shelter, transitional program, survivor advocacy, accompaniment to court and hospitals, legal assistance, and counseling. East Los Angeles Women's Center. 1255 South Atlantic Boulevard, Los Angeles, California 90022. 800-585-6231 Rape and Battering Hotline. 323-526-5819. LAWC.org. Services include 24-hour bilingual hotline, peer counseling, support services, advocacy services, community education, bilingual services. El Monte Youth Development Center / Pathways Domestic Violence Shelter. El Monte, California 91731. 626-455-0026. Serving the communities of El Monte, Baldwin Park, and South El Monte. Glendale YWCA Shelter. 735 East Lexington Drive, Glendale, California 91206. 888-999-7511. 818-242-4155. Fax, 818-240-6036. glendalewca.org/act.html. Services include shelter and women's services, 24-hour crisis line, counseling and referrals, 45-day emergency shelter, case management, legal assistance, support groups, education and outreach programs. Grace Center, 1495 North Lake Avenue, Pasadena, California 91104, 626-355-4545. grace-center.org. info@grace-center.org. Services are available to domestic violence survivors, both male and female, English and Spanish. Services also available for children. Haven Hills, Inc. epub 260. Canoga Park, California 91305. 818-877-6589. 818-887-7481. Fax, 818-887-4796. havenhills.org. safe@havenhills.org. Provides a crisis line, shelter, transitional program, counseling, teen program, and children's programs. Haven House, epub 50007. Pasadena, California 91115. 323-681-2626. 626-564-8880. Fax, 626-564-9348. Services, emergency shelter, bilingual counseling services, housing and employment assistance, legal advocacy and assistance, outreach, and medical services. House of Ruth, epub 459. Claremont, California 91711. 877-988-5559. 909-623-4364. Monday, Friday 9 to 5 o'clock. Fax, 909-629-9581. houseofruthinc.org. Services, 24-hour emergency hotline, housing assistance, career counseling, legal advocacy and assistance, child care, and support groups and counseling in Spanish and English. Interval House, 6615 East Pacific Coast Highway No. 170. Long Beach, California 90803. 562-594-4555 or 714-891-8121. 562-594-9492. Fax, 562-596-3370. intervalhouse.org. admin@intervalhouse.org. Interval House runs crisis shelters and centers for victims of domestic violence. Interval House provides comprehensive domestic violence services in over 70 different languages to individuals and families in Los Angeles County and Orange County. Jeunesse Center, Inc. epub 8476. Los Angeles, California 90008. 800-479-7328. 323-299-9496. Fax, 323-299-0699. Genesee.org. Kierl@genesee.org. Provides emergency shelter, transitional shelters, job search assistance, counseling, and legal assistance for women and children. Los Angeles County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Program. 210 West Temple, Suite 18000. Los Angeles, California 90012. 213-974-3512. 800-457-7778 TTY. Fax, 213-974-1484. da.co.la.ca.us. Webmail at da.lacounty.gov. Representatives from the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Victim Witness Assistance Program, VWAP, provide a variety of services to victims of crime. These include crisis intervention, emergency assistance, counseling referrals, court escort and orientation, restitution assistance, returning of property, assistance with employers, and case status notification. There are multiple locations throughout Los Angeles County. Please see the website, http://da.co.la.ca.us/vwap/locations, or call the office for more information. 3204 Rosemead Boulevard, Suite 200. 626-927-2500. 800-380-3811. da.co.la.ca.us/vwap/default.htm. Emergency assistance, victim services, resources, and referrals, other services available. Los Angeles County Domestic Violence Hotline. Los Angeles, CA. 800-978-3600. da.co.la.ca.us/domv.htm. Helps victims find a way out of an abusive environment. It is a multilingual, toll-free service which directs people to shelter personnel in LA County. For Southern California only. The hotline operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Callers may receive help in 13 languages: English, Spanish, Korean, Vietnamese, Mandarin, Cantonese, Tagalog, Khmer, Japanese, Thai, Armenian, Arabic and Farsi. Los Angeles LGBT Center. 1625 North Schrader Boulevard. McDonald/Wright Building. Los Angeles, California 90028. 323-993-7400. lalgbtcenter.org/about. Domestic violence at laglc.org. Services include crisis intervention, safety planning, advocacy with police and courts, court accompaniment, legal representation in certain cases, and help with temporary restraining orders. Ocean Park Community Center, OPCC, sojourn services for battered women and their children. 14502 20th Street. Santa Monica, California 90404. 310-264-6644. 310-264-6646. opcc.net/?ND=violence. Customer services at opcc.net. Services: 24-hour hotline, counseling, emergency shelter, education, children's program, court advocacy, legal clinic, information, and referrals. Peace Over Violence. West San Gabriel Valley Center. 892 North Fair Oaks Avenue, Suite D. Pasadena, California 91103. Rape and DV 213-626-339-3310-392-8381-626-793-3385 and the stalking hotline 877-633-0044. 626-584-6191. 213-626-3393. Fax: 626-584-6193. peaceoverviolence.org. info@peaceoverviolence.org. Peace Over Violence, formerly LACAA, is a sexual and domestic violence, stalking, child abuse and youth violence prevention center headquartered in Los Angeles and dedicated to building healthy relationships, families, and communities free from sexual, domestic and interpersonal violence. POV's innovative programs are comprehensive and include emergency, intervention, prevention, education, and advocacy services. Peace Over Violence. Metro Headquarters. 1015 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 200. Los Angeles, California 90017. 213-626-3393. 213-955-9090. Fax: 213-955-9093. 24-hour hotlines: 310-392-8381, 213-626-3393, 626-793-3385 and the stalking hotline 633-0044. POV's innovative programs are comprehensive and include emergency, intervention, prevention, education, and advocacy services. Rainbow Services. 453 West 7th St. San Pedro, California 90731. 310-547-9343 English/Spanish hotline. 310-548-5450. Fax 310-548-0611. rainbowservicesdv.org. Provides support and assistance for women and children dealing with family violence. Services: 24-hour English/Spanish crisis hotline, Rainbow House, a 30-day emergency shelter, Villa Paloma, a transitional shelter, case management, counseling, parenting classes, life skills classes, and programs for children. Rosa Parks Sexual Assault Crisis Center. 4182 Southwestern Avenue, Los Angeles, California 90062. 323-751-9245. 323-290-4119. Fax 323-751-9384. The Rosa Parks Center is a rape crisis center in South Central Los Angeles. Strength United. 14651 Oxnard Street, Van Nuys, California 91411. 661-253-0258, 818-886-0453. 818-787-9700. Fax 661-702-1343. csun.edu/eisner-education/strength-united. Strength United provides a unique interdisciplinary approach to ending abuse and violence through the collaboration of mental health professionals, educators, researchers, students, and volunteers. SOCASA Family Crisis and Support Center. 3840 Woodruff Avenue, Suite 203. Long Beach, California 90808. 562-402-4888. 562-421-6537. Fax 562-421-8117. sucasadv.org. info@sucasadv.org. Services include emergency shelter, food, clothing, outreach services, on-site school for children, counseling, educational programs, advocacy services, information and referrals. Union Rescue Mission. 545 South San Pedro St. Los Angeles, California 90013. 213-347-6300. urm.org. thuihomeetum.org. Union Rescue Mission, is dedicated to serving men, women, and children experiencing homelessness. We provide comprehensive emergency and long-term services to our guests to help them escape the dangerous streets of Skid Row. Services include emergency shelter, food, clothing, women and children's ministry programs. Valley Oasis DV Council. Los Angeles, California 93539. 661-945-6736 Sexual Assault Hotline. 661-942-2758. Valley Oasis is a community-based organization dedicated to eliminating social and domestic violence and homelessness through community awareness, intervention, prevention, safe shelter, and supportive services. Women's Shelter of Long Beach. 930 Pacific Avenue, Long Beach, California 90806. 562, Her, Home, 437-4663. 562-437-7233. womenshelterlb.com. info@womenshelterlb.com. The following are free services offered by Women's Shelter to all victims of domestic violence, including women, men, teens, children, and individuals in same-sex relationships. Services are provided in English and Spanish. Services include 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, child development center for shelter residents, and a domestic violence resource center. YWCA, San Gabriel Valley. 943 North Grand Avenue, West Covina, California 91724. 626-967-0658. 626-960-2995. Fax, 626-814-0447. ywcasgv.org/wings.html. info@ywcasgv.org. YWCA provides safe, emergency and transitional shelter, support groups, individual assistance, and provide or help families access longer-term transitional housing. We also help victims access financial support, medical and legal assistance, job development skills for stable employment, transportation, and child care. YWCA of Greater LA Sexual Assault Crisis Program. 1020 South Olive Street 7th floor. Los Angeles, California 90015. 877-943-5778. 213-365-2991. ywcaglaw.org. Services include 24-hour crisis line, sexual assault crisis services, information and referrals, community education, counseling, accompaniment, bilingual services. All services are free in English and Spanish. Madera County District Attorney Victim Services. 209 West Yosemite Avenue, Madera, California 93637. 559-661-1000 Monday, Friday 8 to 5 o'clock. 559-675-7726. Fax, 559-673-0430. madera-county.com/index.php/victims-rights. danefo@madera-county.com. If you have a question about a case in which you are a victim, please contact the Madera County District Attorney's Office, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., at 559-675-7726 or contact Victims Services Center at 559-661-1000. The Victim Services Center at Community Action Partnership of Madera County, CAPMC. 1225 Gill Avenue. 800-355-8989 Crisis Hotline. 559-673-9173, by appointment. Fax, 559-673-3223. maderacap.org/text pages/victim_services.aspx. The Victim Services Center at Community Action Partnership of Madera County, CAPMC, provides compassionate and comprehensive services to victims of crime, sexual assault/rape, and domestic violence. Specially trained advocates help individuals and families survive the trauma of crime by offering the help and healing they may need. Programs include 24-hour crisis hotline, victim/witness assistance, sexual assault assistance, domestic violence assistance, emergency shelter, counseling, and volunteer programs. Services also available in Spanish. Marin Community Violence Solutions, San Rafael. 30 and San Pedro No. 170. San Rafael, California 94903. 415-259-2850. Marin Abused Women's Services, MAS. 734 A Street. San Rafael, California 94901. 415-924-6616 English/415-924-3456 Línea de Apoyo en Español. 415-457-2464. 415-457-2421. Fax, 415-457-6457. Moz.org. Contact at moz.org. Women's Spanish 415-924-3456, Men's 415-924-1070. Services include 24-hour hotlines, emergency shelter, transitional housing, men's program, bilingual services, medical/legal assistance, information and referrals, advocacy services. Mariposa County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 5180 Jones St. epub 730. Mariposa, California 95338. 209-742-7441 Monday, Friday 8 to 5 o'clock. Fax 209-742-5780. mariposacounty.org/index.aspx?NID =74. vicwit@mariposacounty.org. The Mariposa County District Attorney's Office is committed to helping victims of crime through our Victim/Witness Assistance Program. This program informs victims of their legal rights and provides services such as crisis intervention, emergency assistance, case status and disposition, orientation to criminal justice system, court escort and accompaniment, community resources and counseling referral, assistance filing victims of crime claim forms, and restitution information. Mountain Crisis Services. 5079 Highway 140. Mailing address, epub 2075. 209-966-2350 or 888-799-7233. 209-742-5865. MountainCrisisServices.org. info@alliance4u.org. Provides 24-hour crisis hotline, counseling, support groups, emergency shelter, assistance obtaining temporary restraining orders, court accompaniment and prevention education. Mendocino County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Program. 100 North State Street Room 501. epub 144. Ukiah, California 95482. 707-463-4218. 707-463-4211. Fax 707-463-3371. co.mendocino.ca.us/da/vicwit.htm. victimwitness@co.mendocino.ca.us. The Victim/Witness Program provides assistance to crime victims and witnesses involved in the criminal justice system. Support encompasses crisis intervention, emergency assistance, and resource/referral. Project Sanctuary. 461 North Franklin St. Fort Bragg, California 95437. 707-961-1507. Fax 707-961-1539. ProjectSanctuary.org. info@projectsanctuary.org. Services include hotline, counseling, legal advocacy, accompaniment, prevention education, shelter. Project Sanctuary, Inc. 564 Dora St. Suite A1. epub 450. 800-575-4357. 707-462-9196. Fax 707-462-5869. projsanc@projectsanctuary.org. Services, 24-hour crisis line, legal assistance, shelter, counseling, self-defense, prevention education, support groups and information on other local resources. 707-463 Help Inland Area, 707-964 Help Coast Area. Merced Woman's Place of Merced. epub 822. Merced, California 95341. 209-722-4357. 209-725-7900. Fax 209-725-7908. Generalienfo@opofmerced.org. Provides services to victims of domestic violence, including emergency shelters, individual/group counseling, walk-in crisis counseling, advocacy services, and assistance with restraining orders and court appearances. Merced County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 2222 M Street, Merced, California 95340. 800-226-6452. 209-385-7385. 209-385-7434 D.A.S. Office. co.merced.ca.us/index.aspx?NID =1026. The Victim/Witness Assistance Program provides the following services: crisis intervention, emergency assistance, orientation to criminal justice system, community resources and referral counseling, restitution information, assistance filing for State Victim of Violent Crime Fund, court escorts, case status and disposition information, assistance and services as needed. Valley Crisis Center, 1960 P Street, valleycrisis.org. The Valley Crisis Center provides Merced County with domestic violence and sexual assault prevention, intervention, and recovery services. We offer individual counseling, support groups, legal services, a 24-hour hotline, and an emergency shelter. Modoc County District Attorney Victim/Witness Program. 204 South Court Street Suite 108. Alturas, California 96101. 530-233-3311. Fax, 530-233-4917. co.modoc.ca.us/departments/victim-services. Victim-services at co.modoc.ca.us. Services offered to crime victims, crisis intervention, counseling, reassurance and support following the crime, emergency assistance, meeting immediate needs of victims such as food, clothing, and lodging, orientation to the criminal justice system, explaining the criminal justice system, including information about individual cases, community resource and referral counseling. t.e.a.c.h/Modoc County Crisis Center. 112 East 2nd Street. 855-855-6745 or 530-233-4575. 530-233-3111. Fax, 530-233-4744. teachink.org. Modoc Crisis Center provides services to victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. We offer crisis intervention, advocacy, accompaniment, and shelter. If you have an emergency or need information and help obtaining a temporary domestic violence restraining order, contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our hotline at 530-233-4575 or 1-855-855-6745. All services are free of charge. Mono Wild Iris Women's Services. 625 Old Mammoth Road No. 201. Mailing address, POB 2858. Mammoth Lake, California 93546. 760-873-7384. 760-934-2491. Fax, 760-934-1568. Our crisis counselors are here to discuss your situation and your options with you, and support the decisions you make for yourself and your family. All of the services offered by Wild Iris are completely confidential, and are offered with dignity, respect, and compassion for our clients. Services include 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, safety planning, restraining orders, advocacy and accompaniment, crisis counseling and support, information and referrals, emergency food and clothing, housing establishment and relocation, youth violence prevention programs and supervised visitation programs. Monterey County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 230 Church Street Modular No. 3. Mailing address, POB 1131. Salinas, California 93902. 831-755-55 5072. Fax, 831-755-5003. co.monterey.ca.us/da/victimwit.hdm. The mission of the Victim/Witness Assistance Program is to provide services to victims/witnesses of all types of crime, reduce the trauma and insensitive treatment that victims/witnesses may experience in the wake of crime, improve the criminal justice system's understanding of the needs of victims and witnesses, and empower victims to participate in the administration of justice, educate law enforcement officials and all other criminal justice personnel to the needs of victims, assure that victims as witnesses are informed of the progress of the case in which they are involved, empower victims to recover from the effects of crimes through crisis intervention and related support services. Provide assistance to victims of crime in applying for state compensation and in seeking restitution. Monterey County Rape Crisis Center. POG 2630. Monterey, California 93924. 831-375-4357, 24 hours, 831-424-4357. 831-373-3955. 831-373-7456 TTY. Fax, 831-373-3389. mtryrapecrisis.org. info@mtryrapecrisis.org. Provides a crisis line, support groups, individual counseling, and advocacy and community education. Services available in English and Spanish. Shelter Outreach Plus. POG 1340. Marina, California 93933. 831-422-2201. Office, 831-384-3388. Fax, 831-384-1308. shelteroutreachplus.org/index.html. Outreach Plus at redshift.com. Shelter Outreach Plus is the primary provider of supportive housing and services directed towards the homeless and victims of domestic violence within the County of Monterey. Shelter Outreach Plus operates 2 emergency shelters that offer women and children safety and assistance as they begin the rehabilitative process necessary to break the cycle of abuse and/or homelessness. YWCA of Monterey. 236 Monterey Street. Salinas, California 93901. 831-372-6300 or 831-583-1025. 831-422-8602. Fax, 831-422-8608. ywca.org/site/pp.asp?CAMNJHKMNRFQG&B=4830007. Mail at ywcamc.org. Shelter and counseling services for domestic violence victims and their families. The YWCA addresses complex issues facing families in domestic crisis and transition. Our approach to domestic violence is fourfold: 1. To dispense critical immediate support services, 2. To provide strategies for healing once immediate crises pass, 3. To provide education and counseling to break the cycle of violence in the lives of individuals and families, 4. To advocate for public policies focusing on ending family violence. Napa County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 931 Parkway Mall. Napa, California 94559. 707-299-1414. 707-253-4211, District Attorney's Office, main number. Fax, 707-299-1413. countyofnapa.org/da/victimservices. District_Attorney_Office at co.napa.ca.us. The Napa County Victim/Witness Assistance Program works to reduce the trauma, frustration, and inconvenience experienced by victims, witnesses, and family members affected by crime. We do this by providing a wide variety of services to victims of crime and their families, in addition to supporting victims and witnesses throughout the criminal justice process. Information and referrals for domestic violence victims. Napa Emergency Women's Services. 1141 Pear Tree Lane Suite 220. Napa, California 94558. 707-255-6397 or 800-799-7233 outside Napa County. 707-252-3687. Fax 707-224-1560. napanews.org. Napa Emergency Women's Services provides a nurturing refuge for women and children suffering from domestic violence and/or sexual assault, and is a catalyst for change through prevention, intervention, and advocacy. Services available in English and Spanish. Nevada Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Coalition. 960 McCourtney Road Suite E. Mailing address, POB 484. Grass Valley, California 95945. 530-272-3467. 530-272-2046. Fax 530-273-3780. dvsac.org. info@dvsac.org. Services for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault include crisis counseling, shelter and safe housing, food, clothes, transportation, support groups, accompaniment and advocacy, children's services, legal services, information and referrals. Nevada County Victim/Witness Assistance Center. 201 Commercial Street. Nevada City, California 95959. 530-265-1301. Fax 530-478-1871. mynevadacounty.com/nc/da/victim-witness-assistance-center.aspx. Our program is part of a statewide effort to provide crime victims with information and emotional support in the aftermath of crime, guidance through the criminal justice process, assistance in applying for victim compensation and awareness of victims' rights. All services are confidential and free of charge. Contact us to talk to someone about the effect of the crime, for an explanation of the court process, to know the status of your case, for a referral to a social service agency, for information about protective/restraining orders, to help prepare a victim impact statement, for questions about restitution for your losses, and for assistance in filing a victim of crime claim. Tahoe Women's Services, Crisis Intervention Center. 8520 Brook Avenue. Kings Beach, California 96143. 800-736-1060 or 530-546-3241. 530-546-7804. TahoeWomenServices.org. Services include 24-hour bilingual crisis line, emergency shelter, advocacy programs, counseling, support groups, community education, information and referrals, children's programs. Orange Community Service Programs, Inc. 1221 East Dyer Road Suite 120. Santa Ana, California 92705. 714-842-6600. 949-250-0488. Fax 714-540-1908. csbink.org. generalianfo@csbink.org. CSP offers free services to women veterans, victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, and elderly abuse. CSP victim assistance programs provide comprehensive services for individuals who are victims of crime, with specialized services for those who are impacted by violent crime. The primary goals of the program are to advocate for victims' rights, provide emergency assistance in the immediate aftermath of crime, provide ongoing support to alleviate the trauma associated with crime, and ease the process of participation in the criminal justice system. Human Options, Inc. 5540 Trabuco Road, Suite 100. Irvine, California 92620. 949-854-3553, 24-hour bilingual line, or 877-854-3594. 949-737-5242. humanoptions.org/programs.html. info@humanoptions.org. Services: emergency shelter, counseling, and programs focused on family violence including elder abuse and batterers intervention, community education. Interval House Crisis Shelter. epub 3356. Seal Beach, California 90740. 714-891-8121, 562-594-4555. Interval House provides comprehensive domestic violence services in over 70 different languages to individuals and families in Los Angeles County and Orange County. Laura's House. 999 Corporate Drive, Suite 225. Ladera Ranch, California 92694. 949-498-1511 or 866-498-1511. 949-361-3775. Fax: 949-361-3548. laurashouse.org. info@laurashouse.org. Provides legal services and counseling for women and children, emergency shelter, emergency food, clothes, group/individual counseling, case management, legal services, outreach and education, and children's programs. Women's Transitional Living Center, Inc. epub 6103. Orange, California 92863. 877-531-5522 bilingual line. 714-992-1939, extension 101. Fax: 714-992-0525. WTLC.org. gtsantus@wtlc.org. Services include: 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, transitional housing, community outreach, legal advocacy, immigration services, children's program. Place or Peace for Families, Roseville Service Office. 700 Sunrise Avenue, Suite N. Roseville, California 95661. 800-575-5352. 916-773-7273. Fax: 916-773-3990. standupplacer.org. Services for victims/survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault include: 24-hour crisis line, emergency shelter, therapy, crisis intervention, counseling, information and referral, emergency food, clothing and transportation. Peace for Families Auburn Service Office. 11985 Heritage Oaks Place, Suite 200. Auburn, California 95603. 530-885-0443. Fax: 530-885-8497. peaceforfamilies.org. help@peaceforfamilies.org. Services for victims/survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault include therapy, advocacy, support groups, and supportive housing programs. Placer County District Attorney Victim Services. 175 Fuelweller Avenue. 916-543-2505. placer.ca.gov/departments/da/victim_witness-assistance.aspx. Victim services include: crisis intervention, emergency assistance, resource and referral assistance, counseling referrals, orientation to the criminal justice system, court escort and court support, court waiting area, case status and case disposition information, notification of family and friends, employer notification, victim of crime claims assistance, child care referrals, witness notification, crime prevention information, walk-in clinic hours, Placer County Superior Court at the Bill. Santurce Justice Center, and information for TRO. Assistance is open, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Tuesday 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. 800-736-1060. 530-587-3101. 530-546-3241. TWS@TahoeWomenService.org. We believe that every person has the right to live a life free of violence and abuse. Prevention, intervention, and treatment are integral components of all our programs. In addition, we support the personal growth of individuals moving through crisis to self-sufficiency by providing a safety net for such needs as emergency shelter, food, clothing, and transportation. Plumas County Victim/Witness Program. 520 Main Street, Room 404. Quincy, California 95971. 530-283-6285. vcgcb.ca.gov/victims/counties/plumas.aspx. Victim Witness at countyofplumas.com. Assists victims and witnesses of crime to cope with trauma and the court process. Plumas Crisis Intervention Resource Center. 591 West Main Street. 530-283-4333 or 877-332-2754. Rape Crisis Line, 877-215-7273. 530-283-5515. Fax, 530-283-3539. pcirc.info. pcirc@pcirc.com. Services, 24-hour crisis line, providing information and referral services, giving direct services or assisting individuals and/or families in attaining services, providing educational opportunities in the community and respond to emerging needs in the community. Riverside Alternatives to Domestic Violence. POB 910. Call for physical address. Riverside, California 92502. 800-339-7273 or 951-683-0829. 909-320-1370. 800-399-7233, outside 951 area code. Fax, 951-320-1387. Alternativestodv.org. info@adv-basafe.org. Services include 24-hour hotline, information and referrals, crisis intervention, teen/children programs, outreach program, advocacy program, and counseling. Center Against Sexual Assault of Southwest Riverside. POB 2564. Hemet, California 92546. 951-652-8300 or 866-373-8300. 909-652-8300. Fax, 951-652-0944. swcasa.org. info@swcasa.org. CASA is a non-profit community-based organization that provides services for sexual assault survivors such as crisis counseling, advocacy, support groups, community education, and referral services. Coachella Valley Sexual Assault Services. 74333 Highway 111 Suite 103. Palm Desert, California 92260. 760-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673, toll free. 760-568-9071. Fax, 760-568-0124. sbsas.org/home%20 page. Part of San Bernardino Sexual Assault Services, serves Riverside County and the Coachella Valley area. Provides a rape crisis hotline, counseling, and advocacy to rape victims and family members. The center also provides emergency food, clothing, and housing to victims who are without necessities because of the violent crime. All services are free and confidential. Riverside County District Attorney Victim Services Western Division. 3960 Orange Street, Riverside, California 92501. 800-599-9973. 951-955-5450. 951-955-5400. rivcoda.org/opencms/index.html. inquiris@rivcoda.org. The Division of Victim and Witness Services has specially trained and experienced advocates to work with victims, witnesses, and their families throughout and beyond the criminal justice process. Advocates can assist you with the following services: information on your rights as a crime victim, guidance in dealing with the court system, assistance in completing and filing applications for crime victim compensation, providing contact information for local resources and counseling referrals, emergency assistance, and ongoing support while you learn to cope. Riverside County District Attorney's Division of Victim and Witness Services. 82995 Highway 111 4th floor. Indio, California 92201. 888-374-1235. 760-863-8216. Inquiries at rivcoda.org. The Division of Victim and Witness Services has specially trained and experienced advocates to work with victims, witnesses, and their families. Shelter from the Storm. 73 to 555 Alessandro Drive, Suite D. Palm Desert, California 92255. 800-775-6055. 760-328-7233. 760-674-0400. Shelterfromthestorm.com. Services include 24-hour hotline, emergency shelter, transitional housing, counseling, legal services, outreach and crisis intervention, community education. Sacramento. Community Against Sexual Assault, CASH. epub 160,022. Sacramento, California 95816. 916-856-2900. cashesac.org/home. info@cashesac.org. Provides peer counseling, support/education groups, direct and community outreach, drop center, community presentations and much more to help individuals who escape prostitution and victims of commercial sexual exploitation. Sacramento County District Attorney's Victim/Witness Assistance Program. 901 Guaranese Street, Sacramento, California 95814. 916-874-5701. 916-874-6218 DA. Office. Fax, 916-321-2201. sacda.org/helping-victim-witness. DA office at sacda.org. Services include crisis counseling, orientation to the criminal justice system, filing for victim compensation, support groups, and other services. Assistance is available in many languages. St. John's Shelter for Women and Children. 1321 NCST. 916-453-1482. stjohnsshelter.org. Formerly located in Madera County, serves single women and women with children, male children up to 14. Classes, anger management, parenting, budget making, job skills, computer skills, public health, mental health and substance abuse, counseling. WEAV. Women Escaping a Violent Environment. 1900 K Street. 916-920-2952 or 866-920-2952. 916-448-2321. 916-443-3715, TDD. Weaveinc.org. Weave is the primary provider of crisis intervention services for survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault in Sacramento County. Through its involvement in the Rescue and Restore Coalition, Weave also provides outreach and services for international and domestic victims of human trafficking. San Bernardino, a better way, domestic violence shelter and outreach. POB 2825. Victorville, California 92392. 866-228-2059. 760-955-8010. A Better Way, domesticviolence.org. vvdv@verizon.net. Assists victims of domestic violence and their children by providing shelter, programs, opportunity, and education. Services include shelter, parent education, anger management, basic budgeting, health and nutrition, support groups. Dove's Crestline Outreach Center. 29099 Hospital Road, Suite 104. Crestline, California 92325. 800-851-7601. 909-337-5300. doves-stop-violence.org. Services include 24-hour hotline, shelter, outreach centers. Doves of Big Bear Valley. 41943 Big Bear Boulevard, Big Bear Lake, California 92315. 909-866-1546. Fax 909-866-8580. doves4help.org. bbdovet@yahoo.com. Services: completing and filing temporary restraining orders, child custody and visitation issues, short and long-term shelter, private counseling, group counseling, emergency food and clothing referrals. No appointment necessary. Family Service Agency of San Bernardino. 1669 North EST. San Bernardino, California 92405. 909-886-6737. 800-832-9119. FSAOFSB.org. The agency's purpose is to promote and strengthen individual and family life through a variety of crisis intervention, counseling, education, and community service programs. Serving Riverside and San Bernardino counties. High Desert Domestic Violence Program. 15075 7th Street. Victorville, California 92395. 760-949-4357, help, or 866-770-7867. 760-843-0701. 866-843-9551, toll free. Fax 760-843-9551. hdtvp.org. elsa@hdtvp.org. Provides 30-day emergency shelter, transitional housing, support groups, legal assistance getting restraining orders, legal referrals, supervised visitation program and group and peer counseling. Services available in English and Spanish. Lucerne Valley Domestic Violence Outreach, Inc. 32649 State Highway 18. Mailing address, POB 2003. Lucerne Valley, California 92356. 760-248-2064. 760-248-2377. lucernevalley.net/org/domestic/info.hdm. Provides emergency shelter, food and clothing, counseling, assistance with legal paperwork and legal advocacy, court support, information and referrals, transportation, and community outreach. Peer support groups are held Mondays from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., schedule valid as of May 2015. Please call to confirm schedule. Morongo Basin Unity Home, Inc. 61740 29 Palms Highway, Suite F. Mailing address, POB 1662. Joshua Tree, California 92252. 760-366-9663. 760-366-1247. Fax, 760-366-2643. unityhome.org/pages/default.aspx. unityhome@unityhome.org. Services include supervised visitation, assistance filing a temporary restraining order, individual counseling, parenting classes, state-mandated 40-hour domestic violence training. Morongo Basin/Yucca Valley Sexual Assault Services. 57382 29 Palms Highway, Yucca Valley, California 92284. 760-369-3353. sbsas.org. Services include 24-hour hotline, counseling, advocacy, and accompaniment. All services are free and confidential. Option House, Inc. 813 North D Street No. A. epub 970. San Bernardino, California 92401. 909-383-1602. Fax, 909-889-7312. optionhouseinc.org. info@optionhouseinc.org. Services include counseling, education, intervention, advocacy, food, clothing, and support services. The agency also provides outreach services, legal services, and information, education and awareness. San Bernardino District Attorney Bureau of Victim Services. 830 Haven Avenue 4th floor. Rancho Cucamonga, California 91730. 909-945-4241. sbcounty.org/servicesinformation/servingvictims.aspx. Services include crisis intervention, orientation to the criminal justice system, notification, referral to counseling and community resources, sexual assault and domestic violence services and state victim compensation. San Bernardino District Attorney Bureau of Victim Services. 316 North Mount View Avenue, San Bernardino, California 92415. 909-387-6540. San Bernardino Sexual Assault Services. 444 North Arrowhead Avenue STE 101-104. San Bernardino, California 92401-1221. 24HR Crisis Hotline 1-800-656-4673, toll free, or 1-909-885-8884. Programs and Services, 24-hour Crisis Intervention Hotline, individual and group counseling, hospital and court advocacy and accompaniment, community referrals, community education and prevention programs, community fairs/tabling events, volunteer training program, bilingual services. All services free of charge. San Diego Casa de Amparo. 325 Buena Creek Road, San Marcos, California 92069. 760-754-5500. Fax, 760-566-3569. casadamparo.org. info@casadamparo.org. In an effort to prevent and treat child abuse, provides counseling, support, and other services to children and their families in San Diego County. Note: this organization doesn't specifically focus on domestic violence, although womenslaw.org lists it since child abuse is often a part of the cycle of domestic violence. Center for Community Solutions, Escondido Office. 240 South Hickory Street, Suite 110. Escondido, California 92025. 1-888-DVLINKS 385-4657. 760-747-6282. ccssd.org. In the legal clinic, attorneys and paralegals offer assistance with getting temporary restraining orders, custody and divorce issues, and victims of crime funding claims. Also provides court accompaniment and limited in-court representation, domestic violence services, rape crisis center, and a counseling center. See the website for more information. Services available in English and Spanish.